Welcome back to On the Rise for Canadians of the Week, breaking down the top three Canadian performances of the last week. It was a very exciting week for Canadians, with records being broken, winning goals being scored, clean sheets being had, as well as Champions League places being earned for the first time in a player's career. As we're going to jump straight into my third Canadian of the week because it was an extremely fun week to break down. But we're going to stay in the MLS, my third Canadian of the week, and in the Eastern Conference with Nashville SC's Jacob Shaffelburg. As Jacob Shaffelburg got on the goal scoring sheet, scoring the winning goal for Nashville SC in a 2-1 victory over Charlotte FC in a huge win in the Eastern Conference. As Nashville SC continue to move up the table as they now sit in 5th place on 20 points from 12 games played. In a very competitive Eastern Conference at the top of the table, and it was a big win over a side in Charlotte who are also fighting neck and neck at the top of the Eastern Conference. But it was a big game for Jacob Shaffelburg, who showed his skill, his ability by getting a goal on the board and playing very well once again and looking like the Jacob Shaffelburg we well and truly know. And this is the form, this is the performance we need to see on a regular basis from Jacob Shaffelburg, especially at the club level, where he needs to earn a bigger transfer and prove himself at the club level more consistently. But he had an 8.3 match rating, scoring the winning goal in the 54th minute and playing very well, showing his skill, showing his ability throughout the match, where he went 74 minutes on an 8.3 match rating, scoring the winning goal. And it was a very exciting performance as he managed 2 shots, 27 for 30 accurate passes for a 90%, creating 2 chances on a 0.15 XA and scoring on a 0.08 XG chance. But also he got on the ball very well, having 45 touches, 1 shot was blocked, 1 for 1 successful dribbles, as well as 3 passes into the final third, but also 2 for 3 accurate long balls. Defensively worked very hard as usual, showed his work rate with 5 recoveries and 1 defensive actions, and winning 2 for 2 ground duels. It's very exciting for Jacob Shaffelburg to finally show that quality once again in the MLS, playing to the level we know he can, that he showed so many times at the national team level, but he just has to do it more consistently at the club level with this Nashville side that are looking to move up the table and to win the Eastern Conference. But we're going to move on to my second Canadian of the week because it was a big week for Canadians, but this time we're heading abroad, and we're heading to France, to Liga, and to Olympique Marseille, where Derek Cornelius has punched his ticket into the Champions League next season, as Derek Cornelius is my second Canadian of the week, as Olympique Marseille managed a 3-1 victory over Le Havre, and this has confirmed Marseille will be in the Champions League next season. For Derek Cornelius, first time ever in Champions League. And this is very exciting for Derek Cornelius to get a taste of Champions League football next season, to play against some of the biggest sides and the best sides in world football, to test himself against some of the best players in the world. And this is a huge step forward for Derek Cornelius, as his side now, after a 3-1 victory, move on to 62 points, confirming Champions League football on 33 games played. Scoring 70 and only allowing 45 this season has been incredible. But Derek Cornelius has been a huge and pivotal part of Roberto De Zerbi's success and getting Olympique Marseille into the Champions League, as he has been a rock at the back. Yes, he's had setbacks. Yes, he's had injuries. But every time he does, he works his way back into the starting lineup. He proves himself and has a major performance when he gets that opportunity. And he did that once again in a big match for Marseille to get themselves into the Champions League. Derek Cornelius rose to the occasion, having a 7.7 match rating, playing in a 4-2-3-1 at that left center back role, where he was tremendous, both on and off the ball. Derek Cornelius was exciting, keeping the ball very well, very composed, very collected on the ball, as he showed his ball movement, his ball passing ability, and why Jesse Marsch loves to play him so much in that system. And it is very exciting to see what Derek Cornelius can bring aside, as he had a 7.7 match rating on FootMob, going 90 minutes, having one shot, but having 50 for 53 accurate passes for a 94%, which is extremely good for a center back who is always looking to play forward, always playing very collected on the ball, and in a side that likes to keep the ball, play out of the back, and be very collected on the ball, which is very needed for Roberto De Zerbi's style of play, which Derek Cornelius showed once again for Olympique Marseille. And in the air, he also went 4 for 5 on accurate long balls for an 80%, having 63 touches on the ball, 1 touch in the opposition box, and 9 passes into the final third. But also defensively, where Derek Cornelius showed his quality. 7 defensive actions, 5 recoveries, 3 headed clearances, 4 clearances, 2 blocks, and 1 clearance off the line for Olympique Marseille to help keep this game at 3-1. Winning 3 duels throughout the match, but he went winning 3 out of his 4 duels and winning 1 foul as well. Derek Cornelius had a tremendous game for Olympique Marseille to help his side earn their place in the Champions League next season. But we're going to move on and stay in France for my honorable mention, as Ismail Kone is my honorable mention for the week, as he earned himself a start for Stade Rennes in a huge game against another Canadian in Moise Bombito. But Ismail Kone came out on top. He didn't score, but he had a very good game both on and off the ball, just like Derek Cornelius, but he played a very good role in the midfield for Stade Rennes in their 2-0 victory over OGC Nice and Moise Bombito, as 2 goals came from Calimundo in the 15th and 80th minute for Stade Rennes in a big victory that now moves them up to 11th in Ligue 1 on 41 points, 33 matches played, allowing 46 goals and scoring 49. They have really changed their form since that January transfer window and played a lot better football, which is very exciting. But Ismail Kone showed his true quality, and which is why he was my honorable mention of the week. He had a 7.6 match rating, going 75 minutes, very good on the ball once again, 23 for 27 accurate passes, 85%, 1 chance created throughout this match as well, as he also had 3 passes into the final third, 2 for 3 successful dribbles, 41 touches, also seeing 2 for 3 accurate long balls, a consistent trend through the Canadian players being very calm, collected on the ball in possession, which is something that is major for a Jesse Marsch Canadian side. But also defensively, worked extremely hard as well. 5 recoveries, 4 defensive actions, 1 interception, clearance, block, and 1 for 1 tackles won, as well winning 4 of his 6 ground duels and earning 1 foul. It was a great performance from Ismail Kone across the board, and he is truly showing his quality and why he is up to the level in Liga, and he is playing with that confidence, that swagger once again. And he has found his club. He has found that confidence, a manager that backs him, a club that supports him, which is very exciting at a young age for Ismail Kone. And hopefully he can stay at a club like Stade Rennais after his loan spell, which will be very exciting to see what he does in the summer. But Ismail Kone is my honorable mention of the week. But we're going to move on to my Canadian of the week, my number 1 Canadian. And yes, it might not be a Canamanti star, but this player had to get highlighted. He is by far the best Canadian of the week. He isn't with the main Canadian national team, but it comes from the CPL and Atletico Ottawa in Sam Salter. As Sam Salter had an incredible performance, and a performance you will rarely ever see. A 9.9 match rating from the young Canadian striker, the 24-year-old Canadian who broke a CPL record, scoring 4 goals against Valor in their dismantling of them in a 5-2 victory, scoring in the 28th, the 42nd, 46th, and 58th minute. It was a tremendous performance by Sam Salter. The young 24-year-old Canadian striker is showing his ability and his quality this season for Atletico Ottawa, soaring and flying at the top of the table and playing some fantastic football. And as I said in my season preview, he had to have a big season for Atletico Ottawa to soar, and he absolutely is, which is very exciting. But even better was the Norwegian for Atletico Madrid, their parent club, also scored 4 goals in the same weekend, as we saw two strikers for both of their affiliated clubs score 4 goals each. Absolutely obscene, stuffs you would never expect, and Sam Salter and Alexander Sorloth both scored 4 goals this weekend for their sides in Atletico Madrid and Atletico Ottawa. It was a huge performance from Atletico Ottawa. Major kudos to Sam Salter and how well he is playing this year and how well this Atletico Ottawa side looks. Sam Salter deserved the Canadian of the Week. Yes, he isn't a Canamity star. Yes, he's not a Canamity player or prospect at the moment. But the way he is playing, he is being absolutely fantastic this season, and he had to earn my Canadian of the Week. Guys, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say down below in the comments. Who was your Canadian of the Week? Rank them. If I forgot anyone, let me know down below. I know Maxime Crépeau had a terrific performance, as well as some others did, but there was so many to choose from, and I had to give it to these four. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Smash that like button. Drop a sub, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.